Kampala, a city of 4 million people, lies on the shabby outskirts of Lake Victoria, the largest freshwater lake in Africa. It is spread across 7 hills with sprawling shanty towns. Originally planned for a population of 150,000 people, Kampala is grappling with urban decay. Today it could take a motorist 2 hours to navigate traffic and reach a destination which is 9 kilometers away. Open sewers, poor garbage disposal, and rising income inequalities cripple services in the city. The air is heavily polluted, that Kampala is listed among the cities where cycling does not provide any health benefits. By 2023, going by the current plan, Uganda will have 16 cities, including Kampala, the capital city, and the 15 which were approved by a majority of 313 votes in the August Assembly against 1 on April 28, 2020.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of Fort Portal Tourism City, I, Margaret Muhanga Mugisa, I vote yes.
On behalf of the people of Koli County North, I, Mugoya Chawa Augusta, do vote yes.
Nabanja. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kakumiro, I vote yes.
The requirement was to get 50% plus 1. We have achieved it. The ayes have it.
Heralds the Uganda national anthem, and our flag is raised.
It was the first time since independence that the central government was formally gazetting other urban settlements outside Kampala. In East Africa, towns sprouted at the beginning of the last century with the laying of the railway line from Mombasa via Nairobi to Kisumu at Lake Victoria in Kenya, and then linked to Uganda with connections to Kampala, Port Bell, Jinja, West Nile and Kasese, areas which were of strategic economic importance. The colonial towns were further emboldened with flourishing mining, industry and agriculture sectors which were at the core of many pre-independence African states. Kasese was known for copper mining, Jinja was an industrial hub, Mbale for coffee growing, and West Nile known for the tobacco cash crop. Kenya, the largest economy in the region and 9th on the continent, has only 3 cities. Mombasa became a city in 1959, Nairobi the capital city, and Kisumu, which is the economic pulse of Western Kenya and was elevated in 2001. Attempts by the junior minister, Sarah Opendi, the sole voter against the motion, to put up plausible arguments fell on deaf ears.
I want to remind this House that town councils and sub-counties were created, Madam Speaker. They were even operationalized. We yet don't have money to operationalize the town councils and sub-counties, even in this year's budget, Madam Speaker. But we are now proceeding to pass cities, Madam Speaker. Would it not be procedurally right, Madam Speaker, for us to receive first finance tell us where is the money for the sub-counties and town councils before we proceed to look at the cities, Madam Speaker? I think, Madam Speaker, let us, I'm speaking as a Member of Parliament from Tororo, I am also speaking as a minister in this government.
The MPs approved the cities 4 days after they passed the 2020-21 financial year budget. With the country dealing with the effects of the COVID-19 lockdown and a high-stakes presidential election a few months away, there are barely any funds to sustain such an expansion. Government is already grappling with bloated costs to sustain raising administrative costs. NTV also understands that a section of donors under the Urban Development Partners Group, which annually pools $4 million to local government infrastructure development, is against the formation of the new cities. This comes at the time the operationalization of previously created districts, municipalities and sub-counties encountered headwinds due to financial constraints. Africa Kiza, the coordinator of tax and trade policies at Siatini, said this means more public administration costs and hence more borrowing.
Our public service capacity is over rated. I mean, there is a lot. We have more public servants than public services themselves. That's the challenge. We have more, for example, district production officers than production itself. That's the challenge. That the wrong thing we got from decentralization. There's nothing wrong with bringing services nearer to the people. That is okay, if done right. But unfortunately, we have failed that. And in the end, we have ended up bringing technocrats to the people, nearer to the people than the actual services.
Kampala will remain the capital and run by the central government, while the new cities created for their strategic location across the regions will be run under local governments. Already there is wrangling amongst others the governing law for the new cities. Is it under the ambit of the Local Government Act or not, and is it placed under the local government docket or the lands ministry? All this remains unclear. The Urban Development Minister, Isaac Musumba, says they are working on legislation to streamline the process.
First of all, when the cities were created by Parliament, the next step we now need to take, and we've already begun processing, is having a law specifically designed to regulate the management and administration of these cities. Because cities are not local government, it's not LOCs.
Townships or cities are supposed to facilitate socio-economic transformation from peasantry societies to better habitable settlements. But according to the National Development Plan Phase 2, an offshoot of the Vision 2040, the blueprint to transform Uganda into a middle-income country, the plan was to establish 4 regional cities: Gulu, Mbale, Mbarara and Arua, and later 5 strategic cities: Hoima as the oil city, Nakasongola as an industrial city, Fort Portal for tourism, Moroto for mining, and Jinja as the industrial town. When questioned why they deviated from this plan, this is how Musumba responded.
First of all, for me, that's not important. Whether a city is regional or not regional, a city is a city and it must have some minimum criteria for being a city. Whether it's regional, whether you name it regional, industrial, or tourist, or whatever you name it, there are minimum standards, minimum criteria that must be fulfilled for a city, for a place to be called a city. And that's what I'm focusing on.
Instead, they opted for 15 new cities. In July next year, Hoima, Lira and Soroti will come on board, while Moroto, Kabale, Wakiso and Nakasongola will commence in July 2023. The 2014 census detailed that population of all urban centers in the country is 7.4 million people, with 27 urban centers having a population of more than 50,000 persons. However, the most populous districts are Wakiso, Kampala, Kibale, Arua, Kasese, Mubende, Mukono, Hoima, Kabale, and Tororo. Makerere University Urban Planning Don Amanda Ngabirano says the focus should not be on repeating the mistakes in Kampala.
That's exactly my point. You can have a city face when you are not a city. And you can also have a city status when you don't have a city face. So I don't see it's a problem. I don't think it should be a problem. What I think should happen is that the new cities should be enabled and supported to actually function like cities, to start seeing growth, moreover which is organized. I think that should be the focus.
Ngabirano, who was sworn in on Tuesday as the new chairperson of the National Planning Board, charged with the country planning, says the main handicap for the new cities is preparedness.
The biggest challenge that poses is the level of preparedness of the new cities to take on that role. But again, a status does not necessarily make them get planned. It means there's a lot of work for them to do to actually deserve that status. Right now, they have just the status documented, but what city are you seeing?
In neighboring Kenya, urban planning experts are mulling smart cities which combine development, technology and conservation as the hubs of tomorrow's trade, finance, logistics and long-term economic growth.
If you have a city, you don't want to have a city with disorder, with the utility lines crisscrossing each other. A city where garbage is being dumped everywhere. A city that is embarrassing to the youth especially. We don't want to have a city that doesn't make us feel proud, what we call the civic pride. I expect every Ugandan to have that in their heart, to have that at the back of their minds. Every Ugandan, including especially the leadership.
Currently, there's a semblance of some development, well-paved roads and well-lit streets in the cities on the account of the World Bank support under the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Program project, now running in its second phase. But Isaac Mutenyu, the project coordinator, says sustainability remains a problem, especially with the low revenue collections.
Our project, we do performance assessments every year. And one of the things that we look at is revenue generation. And what is disturbing us is that even with the support we've given them, enhancement of revenue is not happening. That, for instance, we have made all the local governments, the municipal councils we are working in, to have an up-to-date record of all revenue sources. In other words, they are able to know the potential they have. And when you look at the potential, it's quite big.
Mutenyo says there's a void in local revenue collections.
You have to know where the revenue is coming from. That they know, from what I've explained. They know they fairly well. They know where the source of revenue. Two, they must know the mechanism. How do we collect this revenue? We know the so and so is to pay us revenue. How do we? In terms of billing, collection, and so on and so forth. Then there's the other part of enforcement. I think that is where the problem is. And in my personal understanding, I think it has to do with the structure, the governance structure.
For instance, Mbarara registered a tax shortfall of 3.9 billion shillings out of the 6.4 billion shillings expected in the last financial year to run their operations. However, area residents expressed ambivalence about the new city status.
Everyone was eager. When are we becoming a city? And now it is here. So we really feel the city now. But the question on everyone's mind is, what does it come with?
It places quite a heavy load on the shoulders of the leaders. First of all, to fulfill the requirements of what a city should be, to move in the direction of the expectations of the people, to plan a better environment for the business community, for the residents, to lobby and enhance service delivery, to improve infrastructure and the well-being of the people around here.
We had some challenges in the municipality. Of course, the politics, here, there, ABCD. And now, I have added on another big task, because this is something which is new, very strange, whereby we are now trying to learn.
Urbanization, if done right, holds a wealth of promise to transform societies as towns, municipalities and cities graduate into industrial or economic hubs.